found a funny meme. That was like literally me this morning. So thank you to our administration for letting me have this time to speak with you, because really all I want to do is just share with you today. I just completed my 10th year of teaching, and as my 10th year of teaching, I have to say it was the best of my career. I've been reflecting the last few years on this career choice, and if it really was for me. And after last year, I can say yes, this is what I meant to do with my life, and this is where I'm meant to be. Like I said today, I just simply want to share with you how I reached this point for myself. I'm not here to tell you the right way to do things, or force ideas the first day back. I simply just want to share with you a little bit about myself, and I hope that I inspire you in some way to realize that yes, this is where you're meant to be, and this is what you're meant to do. Saying that last year was the best year of my teaching makes me wonder what the previous 9 years were like. Like most teachers, the first were survival, right? Just trying to figure out what I was doing and live each day. The next were actually beginning to feel like I was more comfortable with my content, and all the other jobs that we do as a teacher. But after a while, I felt stuck. I felt stagnant. I felt very unhappy. And I questioned if teaching was right for me. But then I took a course last summer that awakened me. It made me stop and think and identify with the feelings of my students. Not that I didn't do that before, but I don't think I really understood the power that I possess as a teacher. That summer, that year before that summer, I also had my son in my class. And he showed me the immense power I and all his teachers possess. And I realized that because what I do as a teacher matters so much, I had to change my mindset. This job is way too important. What we do matters too much to not understand that. You, as a teacher, are so important. I had to figure out how to be the teacher I wish my children had. Those are them. That's my son, he's 11, and my daughter, Lily, is 3.
Can you read what it says?
It says, be the teacher you want your child to have. I wanted to be a happy teacher. So last year I made a conscious effort to go into work with the mindset that I was going to be happy, and that I would use the power I possess as a teacher to make a difference. I found myself asking, how is that possible? What can I do every day to make myself happy? And for me, the answer was really simple. I had to build relationships. But I'm not talking about building relationships with just my students and their families. I had to build a professional relationship with myself and with my coworkers. I found that by building all 3 of these relationships, it made for one very happy teacher. So the first of these relationships that I built is the one with myself. I'm talking about the part of myself that is a teacher, my professional self. I found myself telling people after 8+ years of teaching that I was just a teacher. Did you hear that? Just a teacher. You are an uplifter. You are important. And you are the professional above all other professionals. Never tell anyone or yourself that you're just a teacher. Now, with that title comes much responsibility. It's up to you to be up to date on the best practices for your students. It's up to you to create fun and unique ways to engage and inspire your students. It's up to you to make kids want to be in your classroom every day, because you're a teacher. In order to grow professionally, I took hold of my professional development. I no longer was going to just sit and let my PD hours be limited to one afternoon a month at the middle school. No offense, but I needed something a little more. So I started by signing up for a course that looked interesting. Not an online one that I could actually attend. One that I could go and meet with other educators, other people who also took some of their personal time to grow professionally. And it was magnetic. I loved the energy. I got up in front of everybody that first day too. I just loved being there. I loved hearing other educators talk about learning. I loved hearing their ideas, and we even commiserated, about the woes of our job. But it was nice to know that I wasn't alone in this profession, especially in my love for this profession. I can't stop taking PD courses now. In fact, I was able to attend 2 conferences this summer that were amazing. Build a relationship with yourself, your professional self, by taking hold of your own professional development. Now, maybe conferences aren't your thing, so you can pick up an educational book, okay? My advice would be to find a book that's written by a teacher. Read about others' ideas, and learn some of the new practices that are working for them. If you think about in every single profession, employees are working to be the most up-to-date and find the best tools to use for their jobs in order to serve their customers. I was even thinking about what the insurance lady said about the online doctor. Like, that wasn't available before, but now it is. All other professions are constantly changing and growing and trying new things. We need to be the same way as educators. We need to not be afraid to change or to try new things. Now, I know that means work, but we have to do it if it's best for our students. We have to be willing to veer away from what's comfortable, because although it might have worked in the past, if it's not working now, you need to change. Continue educating yourself as a professional to learn what you can start to incorporate into your class. There's also, that I found out about, educational podcasts. Something you can listen to in the car or while preparing dinner. I listen to one every single day now while I get ready, and I love it. If you have an iPhone, you just have to find this podcast button, and they have educational links. All you then need to do is go to this search button, type in education, and this will pop up. And it's constantly refreshing and giving you new podcasts to listen to. If you don't have an iPhone, one of the podcasts I would suggest you can find through your computer is Angela Watson's Truth for Teachers. And you can find that at thecornerstoneforteachers.com. You just go to this. Look at all this stuff I did. I'm so proud of myself that I put together this PowerPoint. So, Angela Watson is the author of Unshakable. I totally drank her Kool-Aid, and I love it. It's like all I'm doing now. I'm like Angela Watsoning people out. But you go to hear her. Sorry, I'm pointing up here. You go to the podcast button. Hundreds. She's on season 7. So I'm going back to her old ones and listening to them. Another program that I found out about this summer is the Sanford Inspire program. It's established through ASU, but it's all right. I'll forgive them. But what it is, it's incredible. It's type in education, and this will pop up. And it's constantly refreshing and giving you new podcasts to listen to. If you don't have an iPhone, one of the podcasts I would suggest you can find through your computer is Angela Watson's Truth for Teachers. And you can find that at thecornerstoneforteachers.com. You just go to this. Look at all this stuff I did. I'm so proud of myself that I put together this PowerPoint. So, Angela Watson is the author of Unshakable. I totally drank her Kool-Aid, and I love it. It's like like all I'm doing now. I'm like Angela Watsoning people out. But you go to hear her, sorry, I'm pointing up here. You go to the podcast button, hundreds. She's on like season 7. So I'm going back to her old ones and listening to them. Another program that I found out about this summer is the Sanford Inspire program. It's established through ASU, but it's all right. I'll forgive them. But what it is, it's incredible. It's free PD for teachers that you can do online. Comfort and convenience of your own home. And all you have to, or wherever, all you do is go to their on-demand modules here, and you can pick, well, you can go either place, the domains or the modules, and then you can pick a PD course that you want to take. Maybe you need help on managing student behavior or assessment. You can go to those areas and it'll give you a 30 or 60-minute PD session that you'll get a certificate with at the end.
Is it free?
It's 100% free. Online. Hundreds and hundreds of PD options. Can you guys guess what the number one is?
Watson.
No. The number one category.
Oh.
Classroom management.
Teacher burnout.
Oh.
How to avoid teacher burnout
Wow.
is the number one PD session taken most often by teachers. Yeah. So, I really, really enjoy it. I encourage you to build a relationship with yourself as a professional. See yourself as the professional that you are. Now let's focus on the relationship with your coworkers. Bam!
Oh, hey!
Building a relationship with your coworkers is vital. We need one another to lean on those tough days. And we need cheerleaders to rejoice with us on those great days. Now, I'm not talking about just the notes of celebration, those are great, but we need to do something to bring each other together. We can't just expect our principals to do it for us. So last year, we implemented a shout-out board on our campus. Every teacher got some shout-outs, and whenever they felt a colleague deserved one, it went up on the board. It was nice to read what others wrote about one another, and it was exciting when you saw your name on a shout-out. I didn't really know the difference I made until I read some of my shout-outs. We are all teachers in this together. We need to recognize how amazing we all are. This is another bulletin board that I did last year where I just put things on Post-it notes, and then when teachers needed them, they took them down, or they took it down and put it in each other's boxes. If they thought they needed something. And then, I'm sorry, Carol, but I'm totally, because I was so proud. This is already up on our campus for this year. I had to take a picture because I loved it. So what Carol did was she put, what can you add? And then it's like an acrostic poem with all of our names, the staff, and you can add like a word that describes, and she started them all with a word for each of us.
Oh, wow.
Little acts of kindness go a long way with most people and are oftentimes repeated. Anytime I brought in a treat like donuts or something to share, no joke, within a few days or weeks, somebody brought in something else for all of us to enjoy. It really made a difference on our campus. By building relationships with each other, we've grown closer and are really a happy group of, and that's okay. Because our students require more from us than math, reading, and writing. Take a look at this next image and just let it sink in for a minute. So I don't know if you can read some of these words, but it's a classroom. Here's the teacher welcoming her students. You have some that are abused, some that are hungry, some that are bullies, some that are homeless. Pregnant is a reality for high school students. Some are caregivers. These are just the realities of our students. We are dealing with some kids who come into our rooms dealing with more than we could ever imagine. And we have a lot more to teach them than just what's in our manuals. If we stick to what's in our manuals, then we haven't done our jobs. Because some of our students don't have the adults in their lives that are capable of even teaching them the basics. We must build relationships with our students because some of our students don't know what it's like to even have an adult who cares about them. That's just the reality. But if you build relationships with your students, invest in your students, really get to know your students, you might be the person to change their lives. That's powerful. That's amazing. And that's all because you're a teacher. They're a teacher. You might not ever know the difference you're making until your career is long over. What a power that is. What a responsibility that is. And this is true in all of our levels of as educators. Elementary, middle school, high school, special teachers. We all make a difference. Maybe you're the elementary teacher who sparked a little girl to play school for hours, forcing her little brother to be the student who couldn't spell his name right. So he had to write it over and over hundreds of times, but who later became an elementary school teacher. Or maybe you're the middle school teacher that talks about college for the first time and inspires an impressionable young lady to actually start trying in school. I'm not gonna be able to do this.
You can do it.
Come on, Scott, you can do it.
Because college is an option for everyone and she actually believes you. But who later did attend college and graduated, magna cum laude, from U of A. Not the Harvard goal she wrote down in 8th grade, but still. College.
A part of it, she's
Thank you. Or maybe you're the high school teacher that sets expectations so high. Sorry. Because her class is so engaging that no one will miss a day of her class, even on one of the most difficult days of her life. The day she was assaulted, and after spending hours in the hospital, wouldn't miss class because she didn't want to let her teacher down. You see, I'm that girl, and I was that high school student who, despite my home life, didn't miss one day of my senior year because I had a teacher who I couldn't let down. A teacher that built a relationship so strongly with me that we continue it to this day. She's one of my best friends. That is why I encourage you to build a relationship with your students. You might not know the difference you've made, but you will make a difference. Have a fantastic